Buckle up, everyone, because today we're going deep into a theory that says reality
It was like a giant multi-dimensional code.
code. Yeah.
We're going to be looking at Testo Incolato by Dr. Fabio DI Bello.
Okay.
And he's got this really interesting theory of emergence to try to explain how the universe works at like the most basic level.
You know what I find fascinating about DI Bello's work is that he presents these clues almost like we're solving a mystery, a detective story.
Yeah.
Pointing toward a potential theory of everything.
Oh, wow.
And the thing is, these clues come from all these unexpected places. Tiny particles, the largest structures.
Okay, so
it's really cool.
Let's start with that first clue, the idea of reality as a geometric code.
Okay.
This is a bit of a head scratcher, right?
It is, yeah.
So DI Bello says, instead of thinking of the universe as like matter and energy,
right,
we should think of it as being made from these tiny 3D pixels that he calls tetrahedrons. So imagine the pixels on your TV screen, but instead of flat, they're three-dimensional, with little pyramids.
Okay.
And these tetrahedrons are the smallest possible unit of length, called the Planck length.
And that's
about 10 to the 35th times smaller than a meter.
So, like,
to give you some perspective, that's like comparing a grain of sand to the entire Earth.
that is unbelievably small.
It's mind-boggling.
So how do these tiny tetrahedrons make the reality that we see and feel around us?
Well, DI Bello suggests that they fit together in a very specific way. Following these complex mathematical rules, they form this three-dimensional structure. It's like a giant, intricate 3D jigsaw puzzle where every piece is a tetrahedron.
And this is where things get really wild, right?
Yeah.
DI Bello says that these tetrahedrons can only exist in a few different states at any given time.
Right.
So what determines what state each one of those is in?
Well, that brings us to clue number 2, the E8 lattice. So picture an incredibly complex and symmetrical crystal, but existing in 8 dimensions.
8 dimensions, okay.
Now imagine projecting this 8D crystal into our 3-dimensional world. The shadow that it casts would be distorted, but it would still have a pattern.
Okay.
And this pattern is called a quasi-crystal.
So you're saying our 3D reality is like a quasi-crystal.
Exactly.
A distorted image of this higher dimensional E8 lattice.
Precisely. And those tetrahedrons are the building blocks of this 3D quasi-crystal.
Okay.
Their arrangement is dictated by the projection of the E8 lattice.
I'm starting to see how the pieces fit together here.
Yeah.
But there's still this missing piece, right? Like what decides the state of each individual tetrahedron within this massive structure?
And this is where DI Bello brings in his most fascinating clue. Consciousness.
Okay.
He suggests that consciousness is actually involved in choosing the state of each tetrahedron.
So our minds aren't just watching reality, they're actively creating it.
That's the implication. And this takes us to another clue, the need for like a new framework in physics to deal with these wild ideas.
So you're talking about DI Bello's theory of emergence.
Precisely. He argues that current theories like relativity and quantum mechanics, while they're incredibly successful in a lot of ways, don't fully explain why the universe is the way it is.
What do you mean? Don't they explain how things work?
They explain how things work, but they just accept certain fundamental constants, like the speed of light or Planck's constant, as just givens. They don't explain why those constants have those specific values.
So it's like they're the rules of the game, but no one knows who made the rules or why.
That's a great analogy. A theory of emergence would try to explain how these fundamental constants came to be, which would give us a much deeper understanding of reality.
Wow, this is really fascinating.
Yeah.
We're talking about a potential paradigm shift in how we see the universe.
Absolutely.
And we've only just started to look at these clues?
Yeah, there's so much more to uncover.
Okay, well, I'm totally on board. Let's jump into those next clues and see where they take us.
Let's do it.
All right, hit me with that next clue in this cosmic mystery.
Okay, let's talk about causality.
Okay.
You know, that relationship between cause and effect? So we tend to think of time as like this straight line.
Yeah, past, present, future.
Right, the past leading to the present, then to the future.
Right.
But DI Bello's work really challenges this linear view.
Wait, so he's saying time isn't a straight line. Does that mean time travel's a thing?
Well, not exactly. What he's pointing to is a deeper understanding of time based on Einstein's theories, which suggests that the past and future might actually exist all at the same time.
At the same time.
It's called the block universe model.
That's a lot to process. So you're telling me the future's already written?
Not necessarily written, but think of it like a loaf of bread.
Okay.
Every slice is a moment in time.
Okay.
The whole loaf, from the first slice to the last, exists all at once.
Okay, I think I'm kind of getting it.
Yeah.
But how does this connect back to causality?
Well, it means that the relationship between cause and effect might not be as simple as we think.
Okay.
DI Bello introduces this concept of causality loops.
Causality loops.
Where the future can influence the past.
Whoa.
And the past can influence the future.
Okay, that's blowing my mind a little
bit.
It's like those time travel movies where someone goes back and messes things up and accidentally causes the thing they were trying to stop.
Exactly. Causality loops really mess with how we normally think about time.
Yeah, they do.
But then again, quantum physics does that all the time.
Right.
Speaking of which, what about that idea that watching something actually affects reality? Does that fit into DI Bello's theory?
Right, yeah.
It totally does. This leads us to DI Bello's next clue, information.
Okay.
There's this growing idea in physics that information is like the most fundamental building block of reality.
Even more than matter and energy.
Yeah, even more.
Okay.
So instead of thinking about the universe being made of stuff, it's really made of information.
So everything is bits, essentially.
Exactly. John Wheeler, a famous physicist, had this great phrase, it from bit, suggesting that everything we experience comes from bits of information.
But where does consciousness fit in all this? We were talking about consciousness maybe affecting those tetrahedrons.
Right. Well, Wheeler believed that observation is essential to bring information and therefore reality into being.
So who's doing the observing? Conscious beings.
Of course.
So we've got information is the foundation of everything and consciousness may be shaping it.
Yeah.
But where does free will fit into all of this?
Right.
You know, if the future can change the past, is everything already decided?
That's a great question, and it brings us to non-determinism.
Okay.
So you know the double slit experiment in quantum mechanics?
Yeah.
It shows that just watching a particle can change how it behaves, and we can't always predict the outcome.
So maybe reality isn't totally set in stone.
Exactly. Non-determinism suggests there's room for choice.
So free will is still on the table.
Potentially. It could mean we have some power to shape reality even within this whole reality as code and causality loops thing.
Okay, good to know. I still have some control over my life.
Right.
So we've covered reality as a code, the E8 lattice, consciousness playing a role, causality loops, information being the base of everything.
Yeah.
Are there any more clues in DI Bello's detective story?
Actually, there is one more that's really interesting, and it might surprise you.
Oh.
It's something you probably associate with art and architecture.
Okay, I am definitely intrigued. Tell me more.
This final clue is the golden ratio.
Wait, the golden ratio? I thought that was just for, like, paintings and buildings.
Right, but it turns out that this mathematical concept pops up in unexpected places throughout the universe.
What? Really? Like where?
Like in the arrangement of petals on a flower, or the spiral arms of galaxies.
Whoa.
And what's really fascinating is that the golden ratio also shows up in some unexpected places in physics.
Like
black holes.
Black holes. What does the golden ratio have to do with black holes? Okay, you've really got me hooked now. What could black holes and the golden ratio possibly have in common?
So it turns out the golden ratio pops up in calculations that are related to black hole entropy, which is a measure of the disorder in a system.
Oh, okay.
And what's even crazier is that the golden ratio also shows up in calculations about the specific heat of black holes.
So what's that mean?
That's a measure of how much energy you need to raise their temperature.
I'm trying to wrap my head around all this.
Yeah.
So this math concept, the golden ratio, is somehow connected to these super dense and mysterious objects in space.
Yeah.
What could that mean?
It's a huge question.
Yeah.
Some physicists think it points to this deep connection between geometry, information, and the nature of space-time itself.
Wow.
And remember we were talking about the E8 lattice?
Yes, the 8-dimensional crystal.
Right. Well, this is where things get even more interesting.
Yeah.
When the E8 lattice is projected into 4 dimensions, it creates these 2 identical shapes.
Yeah.
And their size ratio is, you guessed it, the golden ratio.
No way. It's like all these different things.
No.
The tetrahedrons, the E8 lattice, consciousness, causality loops,
That's wild.
information, and now the golden ratio. Yeah. They're all linked.
They're all connected.
And that's what makes DI Bello's work so fascinating. Right.
Absolutely. He's pulling together these threads from physics, mathematics, even philosophy, to show us this picture of reality as a dynamic, self-organizing code.
Okay, my mind is officially blown.
Yeah.
But let's back up for a second.
Okay.
We've explored all these fascinating concepts.
Yeah.
But what's the takeaway?
Right.
What does this reality as a code idea mean for us?
Yeah.
For humanity?
That is the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
If reality really is a code, could we learn to read it one day?
Yeah.
Even rewrite it?
I mean, the possibilities, if we could decipher that underlying code.
It's pretty amazing to think about.
What would that mean for how we see the universe?
Uh-huh.
What kind of tech could we develop?
It's exciting and a little bit scary to think about, right?
It is a little bit, yeah.
DI Bello's work is opening up all these possibilities.
Yeah.
It's making us reconsider our place in the cosmos.
Right.
And our potential to shape our own future.
I'm feeling kind of a mix of awe and responsibility.
Yeah, I get that.
Like, if we are actually co-creating reality,
right,
even in some small way, don't we have an obligation to use that power carefully?
I agree completely. Understanding reality isn't just an intellectual pursuit.
Right.
It's about self-discovery, and it's a call to action.
Yeah.
The more we understand how reality works, the more conscious we can be in creating the kind of world we want.
This whole deep dive has been a real mind-expanding experience.
It has.
We've been to the edge of physics.
Yeah.
We've thought about the mysteries of consciousness.
Right.
And we've caught a glimpse of this reality that's so much more intricate and interconnected than we could have ever imagined.
And the best part is that this is just the start.
Yeah.
DI Bello's work is like a launching pad.
Right.
Sending us off into this new age of exploration and discovery.
Who knows what we might find?
Exactly. Who knows what amazing breakthroughs are waiting for us as we continue to unravel the secrets of this reality code.
I really want to encourage everyone listening to keep digging into these ideas.
Yeah.
Challenge your assumptions. Question everything.
Keep an open mind.
Embrace the mystery and wonder of it all.
Absolutely.
And hey, maybe someone listening right now will be the one to crack the code.
It could be.
And unlock the next level of understanding.
Right.
Thanks for coming along with us on this incredible journey.
It's been my pleasure.